Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I hope you are all well. My name is Rizwan Ali. I have done my graduation in electrical engineering. So today the topic which I am being supposed to talk about it's about formal and informal language. So before going to my topics, I would like to tell something about what is communications and where it can be derived or where it is derived. So let's we start our topics. Communications. The word communication is derived from the Latin word which means communes. Communes, communes which means common. यानी कि कोई भी दो चीज़ें जो आपस में कॉमन हो, कम्युनिकेट कर सकती हों, कॉमन हो, ठीक है. कम्युनिकेशन which means that exchange. What exchange? So let me know, be carefully. What exchange? Exchange mean facts के हैं उस चीज़ के, उसके आइडियाज़ के हैं, ओपिनियन के हैं, इमोशन के हैं. तो वो किन के दरमियान तबादला ख्याल हो, 2 persons or more. I hope you pick up my point. So opinion means कि जो भी हम राय दे रहे हैं, वो फैक्ट्स दे रहे हैं, वो किन चीज़ों के दरमियान है. मतलब कि अपनी बात का तबादला ख्याल करना, अपने इमोशन का तबादला ख्याल करना किसी दो पर्सन के दरमियान, तो इसको कहते हैं कम्युनिकेशंस. सो कम्युनिकेशन के आगे वे क्या होते हैं, ठीक है. तो कम्युनिकेशन के 2 वे होते हैं. एक वे क्या है हमारे पास, वो फॉर्मल होता है, फॉर्मल, और एक क्या है, इनफॉर्मल. अब हम इनकी मज़ीद डिटेल देखते हैं. तो व्हाट इज़ फॉर्मल एंड व्हाट इज़ इनफॉर्मल. So before going to our main topics, I would like to say something about language. So we will talk here. No living language is simply one set of words which can be used the same way in all situations. कोई भी वर्ड है, कोई लैंग्वेज है, वो सिंपल एक वर्ड की लैंग्वेज नहीं होती. उसमें एक लॉट अमाउंट ऑफ वेज होते हैं, सिचुएशन होती हैं उसको डालने की. द नेचर ऑफ लैंग्वेज इज़ सच डैट देयर आर इन इनफाइनाइट वैरायटी ऑफ डिफरेंट वेज टू अरेंज द एलिमेंट्स. इट्स मीन कि अगर हम किसी भी चीज़ को एक्सप्लेन करते हैं, बयान करते हैं, तो उसको बयान करने के डिफरेंट वेज हो सकते हैं, डिफरेंट मेथड हो सकते हैं, ठीक है. तो व्हाट दिस मीन्स इज़ डैट देयर आर मैनी वेज टू से समथिंग डिपेंडिंग ऑन वेयर you are, who you are talking to and how you feel. मतलब एक बात है ना, उसको कहने के डिफरेंट तरीके हो सकते हैं कि हम उसको डिलीवर किस तरह कर रहे हैं. तो कोई भी एक चीज़ है, उसको डिलीवर करने के डिफरेंट मेथड हो सकते हैं, तरीके हो सकते हैं. तो वन ऑफ द मेन फैक्टर विच डिटरमिन विच वर्ड्स एंड स्ट्रक्चर्स आर appropriate is the degree of formality of the situation in which you are using the language. तो वो कोई भी अप्रोप्रिएट वे हो सकता है जिधर आप लैंग्वेज को यूज़ करते हैं. सो इफ़ वी टॉक अबाउट इट्स लैंग्वेज डेफिनेशंस. सो द डेफिनेशन, द फॉर्मल लैंग्वेज क्या होती है. सो लेट्स वी टॉक अबाउट फॉर्मल लैंग्वेज. इवन व्हेन वी स्पोकन इज़ ऑफन एसोसिएटेड विद द conventions expected of written standard English. At its most extreme, formal language is singled by complex, complete sentences, impersonality, avoidance of colloquial or slang vocabulary, and a consistent preference for learned words often derived from Latin. इट्स मीन कि एक लैटिन वर्ड से ड्राइव्ड हुए हैं. सो तो हम बात कर रहे थे कि फॉर्मल लैंग्वेज, यानी कि फॉर्मल लैंग्वेज में कोई भी वो कंप्लीट सेंटेंस हो सकता है, कम्प्लेक्स हो सकती है, ठीक है, वोकेबलरी, स्लैंग वोकेबलरी हो सकती है, इस तरह की एक प्रेफरेंस हो सकती है, ठीक है, जिसे हम लर्न करेंगे. तो इसी तरह इनफॉर्मल लैंग्वेज है, इज़ कैरेक्टराइज्ड बाय अ simpler grammatical structures. इनफॉर्मल लैंग्वेज में हम सिंपल अपनी वर्डिंग को, अपने वे को किसी दूसरे तक डिलीवर करते हैं, ठीक है, जैसे लूजली कनेक्टेड सेंटेंस एंड फ्रेजेस। इट्स मीन डैट कि इनफॉर्मल लैंग्वेज में हमारे पास कोई ख़ास वोकेबलरी और ख़ास स्ट्रक्चर वे की ज़रूरत नहीं होती, हम इसको सिंपल भी कह सकते हैं। पर्सनल एवेलुएशन होती है, ठीक है, एवेलुएशंस एंड कोलोकियल और स्लैंग वोकेबलरी भी हम इसके लिए यूज़ कर सकते हैं। सो डिफरेंस बिटवीन फॉर्मल एंड इनफॉर्मल, दी फॉर्मल एंड इनफॉर्मल लेटर्स। अगर हम इनफॉर्मल और इनफॉर्मल लेटर की बात करते हैं, लैंग्वेज की बात करते हैं, तो अगर हमने कोई चीज़ डिलीवर करनी है किसी फॉर्मल तरीके से या किसी ऑफिस में, तो हम क्या करते हैं कि उसको एक फॉर्मल वे होता है उसको डिलीवर करने का। सो लेट्स वी टॉक अबाउट इट्स। अ फॉर्मल लेटर इज़ अ लेटर रिटन टू बी अ बिजनेस, college or any professional that are not considered friends or family. It's mean okay, if we write a formal letters, then may be a a business or a college or university which we want to deliver our communications to our principals, chairmans, etc. So it's a proper way which we use to deliver our communications. So what its way, if we talk about a letter, how we can deliver it to our uh, chairmans or principals. So name, address, phone number, email, we write it like dear name, then body of letters, the thing which we want to deliver. It became on body of letters. So at the end of we say sincerely respected words to his uh, principals, towards the principals, sincerely, name, sign in pen under the type. So uh, basically this is the way of communications, to send our communications to formal way to our principals or chairmans. So an informal letter, let's we talk about informal letters, is a letter you would write to a friend or family members. It does not necessarily need a format, but there is a standard. It's mean that कि इनफॉर्मल लेटर में हम इसमें कोई स्टैंडर्ड की ज़रूरत नहीं होती, हम सिंपल भी ये अपनी फैमिली फ्रेंड्स को भेजते हैं, ठीक है, इसके लिए कोई स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्मेट की ज़रूरत नहीं होती। लाइक dear name, body of letters, sincerely name, etc. We can write and we can deliver to our family or friends. So formal and informal speech and writing. Let's we talk. It's one by one, formal and informal speaking power, speaking part. Use of contractions. He has gone formal. We can write it in formal, and then he's gone. So we cannot write in a formal way he's gone, so it is informal. So we use of course we use prepositions to deliver our communication way. So which nation does she belong to? So this is an informal way. So if we talk, if we deliver it in a formal way, so what we say, to which nation does she belong? I hope you understand well. So next word is use of relative pronouns. So इसके लिए हम एक relative pronouns भी use करते हैं. The woman who you are talking about is my boss. So it's a formal way to deliver our talk. The woman, let's we talk about informal. Then we say the woman you are talking about is my boss. So it is an informal way of communications to deliver our talk to others, communications to others. So use of determiners. So we take an examples of this. Neither of the answer is correct. So you can see it is a formal way to deliver it. So informal क्या होगा? Neither of the answer are correct. So it is a informal way of speech and writing, how we can deliver it to others. So common, informal and formal equivalents. So let's here we talk about some common formal or informal equivalents. We take it one by one with examples. So what is informal? So informal, a bit. If we say a bit, then in formal way we can say a little, a little. Uh, Next one is about. So we can say in formal way concerning. Please concerning it. We say please concern it. So next it is ask for. So in formal way we can say request. Please being a humble request to you. So we can say request. If we say informal way but, then in a formal way we can say however. If we say informal way is buy, but informal way we can say purchase. At extra, find, locate, get, obtain, help, assist, promise, assured, send back, return. So how to avoid colloquial informal words? So avoid using common colloquial words and expressions. So what is colloquial informal words? It's mean that कि आम तौर पे जो हम आम रोज़मर्रा की लाइफ में जो हम बात करते हैं, आम बातचीत को हम colloquial informal words कहते हैं. सो इसको हमने अवॉइड करना है. Colloquial words and phrases are called colloquialisms. There are also solecisms such as a not, which are grammatically errors. So we cannot say a not, aren't. Finally, there are non-words combinations of letters and characters that do not form real words such as a lot. So we should be avoid by using these words. So next one is avoid contractions. So we should also avoid contractions. Use favor contractions in your writings, then you would use in your speech. Like cannot is preferable to cannot. I hope you understand well. So in formal contexts you can write cannot. So you should be understand it contractions. So next one is try to avoid the first and second persons. Formal writing often tries to be objective, and the pronouns I and you tend to imply subjectivity. So in the most formal writing, we replace I and one replace you. So it's a formal writing way. So in formal writing way, we can replace we, replace in I and one replace with you. So always include the relative pronouns. If we talk about some things which was useful for us, then we want to say to others what is it. So we can say in speech and casual writing you can say that was the boy I saw on the street. So we use relative pronouns. So in formal writing you should say he was the boy whom I saw on the street. So it's a formal way. The first one is casual writing. So in casual writing you can say that was a boy I saw on the street. So it's a casual writing. But when you write in a formal way you can see he was a boy whom I saw on the street. In this style you should be sure to always include whom, even when it is not necessary to your meaning. So next one is do not start a sentence with the coordinating conjunctions. So Let's we see what is it means. In the written language, do not use coordinating conjunctions such as and or but to start a sentence. So we cannot uh, in a written language we cannot start a word and or but. In formal language, try to start sentence with additionally. So if we want to start a sentence in formal language, we write we start it with additionally or moreover, nevertheless, and alternatively. In casual writing you can start sentence with also, but avoid this is formal English. I hope you understand well. So it's also some examples about colloquial words and expressions. Anybody, anyone, or more than, are more formal than anybody, and its variants, and its anyone. So this is because the word body derives from German, whereas the word one derives from Latin. So it's examples which we can use in formal or colloquials. Let's suppose the adjective cute. Cute is a colloquial word, so we can replace it with in formal language adorable, adorable, adorable. So we can avoid, we should be avoid like colloquial words in formal language. So here is also some examples about this. Sometimes we get used for obtain. In that case you can use find or grab in formal writing, and obtain or purchase to in extremely formal writing. So it is also examples how come replace how come. It's mean that if we want to remove replace how come, then we replace it with why in formal writing. So in formal speech you may find how so useful. If you find that you are about to use how come, just use how so. I hope. Let's we take an example. How come you ordered steak? So we can say why did you order steak? So it's a difference between formal and informal writing. So if we let's we take another example. Kinda, kind of, sorta, sort of. Kinda means kind of, and sorta means sort of. So kinda and sorta should not appear in the writing language except dialogues and unacceptable in formal writings. So if we want to write or says in orally, so we can say kinda or sorta. But in formal language, when we want to write something or something in formal ways, we cannot write it like this. So we should be replace it with kind of, and sorta replace it with sort of in a formal language. It should be acceptable perfectly in all kinds of writing when they are used in a sentence, such as the parakeet is a kind of bird. So slang is a subset of language used by one particular group. It consists of words and expressions which will not be found in the dictionary, and can be distortions of existing words or entirely in terms. It is used in informal situations. It is not appropriate in formal situations. So slang and informal language are not the same. So it is a different. Some slang can be used in formal situations, and some of the words that can only be used in informal situations are not slang. So conclusions, if we uh, take if we conclude our today lessons, so one of them, the first thing is formal and informal language affects your everyday. So we should be affect, basically we should be affect because when we move on office or business, we use informal ways of communications. So we should be avoid to them. To some people the difference are very so sub subs subtle, and the need to use a more formal style or vocabulary in is not existent as a society. The type of language that is used, whether it is formal or informal, so is directly dependent on the culture and customs that are the most prevalent in the age of TV and the internet. The need to communicate to the audience at its level has degraded the level of formality needed in order to speak effectively. मतलब ये है कि अगर हम कहीं भी अपनी रोज़मर्रा ज़िंदगी में हम फॉर्मल और इनफॉर्मल वर्डिंग को डिफ्रेंशिएट नहीं कर सकते, तो ये हमारे पास एक लैक लैक थिंग्स होगी, ठीक है, और इट शुड नॉट बी अ preferable. So we know how where we can use formal or informal sentence. So it is a main things which we should be take in mind. So I hope you understand formal and informal language and what is it, its patterns, and where we use it, and where we use pronouns, adjectives, or some prepositions also. So let's we take an examples of formal or informal exercise. So it's a exercise. I hope you understand it well. So all of the following sentences are acceptable in standard English. It's mean that in if we want to take standard English, so all the words are acceptable, but some of them would not be appropriate in more formal writing. So we can see it with examples. So identify which sentence would not be acceptable is more formal context and tell why. So let's we take an example. Who should I send this to? So basically it's not a formal way. So uh, I will tell you what is it formal way. So second one is we are going to have a big bash and you are invited. And the last one is also the Smith's request to player of your company at banquet to be held in the honor of their son Joshi, who will be graduating from the Andover College. So the answer, the first sentence should use whom rather than who. So we should use whom rather than who, since it is the object of a preposition. So we use whom in the replacement of who. So next one is we are going to have a big bash and you are invited to. So bash is too slangy for a formal context. So the Smith request to player of your company at a banquet to be held in the honor of their son Joshish, who will be graduating from Andover College. So this sentence would be acceptable in a formal situation such as a formal language. So I hope today's lecture is very fruitful for you and you will be understand it well. Thank you to all of you.